Hello, my name is Bob Link, and I'm presenting this vlog, a partial credit for Preparing for the Future, a senior level class on technology and society at Southern New Hampshire University. In this vlog, I'll discuss the impact of printers, just a small part of the information revolution, on our society. Without a doubt, society's reliance on office and personal printers has benefited nearly everyone. The Industrial Revolution changed almost every facet of society. America moved from the farm into the cities. Jobs changed from agricultural to manufacturing, but not everything was positive. We paid the price for these new standards in living and working with our air and water. We continued to suffer from their pollution until the government passed new laws, the Clean Air Act and the Clean Water Act. The artifacts of the information revolution are many, from the personal computer, the laptop, the cell phone, all the way to the printer. But the printer has evolved to keep pace with this revolution. They originally began slow, big, and expensive. The dot matrix printer allowed us to print little more than basic text and special characters. As we started depending on them for more, we demanded new features. We added fax capabilities, color printing, scanning, email, sorting, and double-sided printing. Then we demanded new technologies like inkjet to give us photo quality, then laser. Then we demanded speed, faster, more, higher capacity. In this vlog, we'll examine three different social groups: the government and business, consumers, and environmentalists, that show how society's dependence on the office or personal printer has done more harm than good. So let's get started and examine each group to discover how they depend on the printer and how that has caused printers to change. Then we'll examine a simple plan to offset the negative influence the printer has had on us. The first social group is business and government users. Just recently, Epson released a survey of almost 4,000 European business users. Amazingly enough, 64% would rather read a report on paper. 53% thought that a paper report was easier to share. 44% thought a paper report is easier to edit. 83% agreed that a paperless office is unrealistic. However, they all did agree that the biggest problem with printers was the average distance from the desk to the printer, 40 feet. So the printer's impact on productivity can't be argued with. No one has a bottle of correction fluid in their desk. We don't see a mimeograph machine at the end of the hallway. Carbon paper, no one knows what carbon paper anymore. And retyping endlessly reports and footers and headers and getting spacing right are all just things of the past. Its impact on staffing has been much the same. It used to be every office had a secretariat pool. They were standard in every office. Now you may see an occasional admin assistant, but they do just about everything but typing. The savings in time, now that we have the ability to save a document, to open it back up, to modify it, to print it, and then to save it again, has cut our workload I don't know how many times. The impact of the quality of material, well, just look at the effect it's had on the U.S. government. Because printers do such detailed work anymore, we've had to redesign and reprint the $5 bill, the $10 bill, the $20 and the $50 bill. And if we look at printers as measured in paper usage, their cost has increased 22% a year. Now when you figure that up across 3 years, that's a doubling in the cost for the office and just the cost of paper. But the biggest concern, at least for me, is that 45% of printed products in the business and government setting are looked at only one time, and sometimes even less than that, and then they're discarded at the end of the day. So one of the ways government and business use printers is to target consumers. So let's take a second and examine the next group, the consumers, and look at their attitudes toward being targeted and their attitude toward printers. So consumers is this next group. You can see their attitude toward printers by looking at the demand. Epson sales, well, Epson is one of the leading printer companies. They've had a steady stream of better, faster, more capable printers, and they've had steady sales over the last 20 years. Not every year has went up, but it's been an incline across the years. If you look at the attitude of consumers at the features, we looked at the features earlier about adding fax, color, and scanning, speed, and cost. Those are directly attributed to consumer demand. They like their printers. But every consumer is subject to the unintended consequences. When businesses started personalizing mass mailings and advertisements, my mailbox started getting overloaded. And every bulk mail that I get now has a personalized greeting. It says, "Hi, Bob," or "To Mr. Robert Link." They're no longer just coming off a printing press. They're targeting and making them personalized for individual people. It's to the extent that the average home is receiving over 500 pounds of junk mail every single year. And if you do the math, that's almost 2 pounds of junk mail in your mailbox every single business day. And of that, 44% is going to the landfill because it's unwelcome and unopened. So the real problem is over the last 20 years, the amount of paper going to the landfill has went from 92 million tons to 208 million tons, and that's over a period of 20 years. So the first two social groups, they stress the benefits of the information revolution. Although the last social group enjoys the same benefits, they don't necessarily stress those benefits like these last two groups. So the last group is the environmentalists. They've enjoyed the same impact on productivity. Their organizations and fundraising have benefited greatly from that. Their impact on staffing has been the same. Their savings in time has been the same. They've enjoyed the same quality of printed materials, the same cost, but where they differ is in their attitude toward this waste. Their attitude is completely different. What they would stress is that 30 million acres of forest every year are forever lost because of our demand for paper. And if you think of that, that's about the same size as the state of Pennsylvania, lost and unreclaimed. You may be thinking, well, what about recycling? Recycling just accounts for 10% of our paper use in America. Additionally, 12% of America's total energy is used in just making paper and paper products. So there are plenty of pros and cons to the value of the printer in the information age. The misuse by some doesn't have to result in such environmental woes. A couple tweaks to the artifact should be all that's required to make it a win-win for everyone. So let's look at the plan, or what I like to call it is what I would do if I were king. Just like we added controls to rein in the abuses of the Industrial Revolution, to control the damage we were doing to our water supply and our air, why don't we add control for junk mail and circulars? Whether it's regulation or law, we can use that control to help regulate some of this. But controls in and of themselves aren't going to be enough to repair the damage that's been done. Just like the controls weren't enough to control the nation's air quality and water supply. So we need a new technology. I'm suggesting something similar to Snapchat, a new paper and ink technology where after a certain amount of time they go blank again. I mean, if 43% of our printed pages go to the landfill at the end of the day, either read once or not even read at all, do we really need ink and paper that holds an image for a century? How about we develop a technology so we can use the same paper day after day after day? The other idea I've got is how about increasing the use of digital content like ebooks? Now this is a cultural change. It's a matter of style or taste, but the technology is already there. And as we saw from the survey that Epson did in Europe, this is a cultural problem. The technology is there. We just have to use it more than we're doing. So my plan is simple. It includes a control element, regulation and law, to control unwanted paper, a new technology element, an ink and paper technology, and also a cultural element to start using and emphasizing digital content. Society's demands has changed the printer in the past, and it's been for the better. The same demands and visibility of the damage printers are doing to the environment can in the future modify printers for the better. So to sum it up, we've looked at 3 different social groups: the government and business, consumers, and environmentalists, in order for us to understand society's dependence on the office or personal printer, and on both the harm and the good it has led to. We've also proposed new types of controls to stop unwanted junk mail, a call for research and development to improve ink and paper technology to give us that Snapchat type capability. And we've also called for a cultural change to increase the non-paper digital content. These are my references that I used in the clip art, where they came from, that I've used in developing this vlog. Thank you for your time. Goodbye.